Ahoy there, guys! It's Captain KT back at it with another video. So today, we are going to be using TTS to try and display some of the concepts we're talking about, because the feedback I got is that that helps for some more visual learners. We're going to be talking about Wyrmblade because I had a good tournament run with them recently. I've had some people asking, what do you do with them? So I brought in my friend Theo. He's an excellent Wyrmblade player. He's beaten me in the matches we've played, so definitely a strong player. Um, and he's a Wyrmblade veteran, so I've brought him in to help give us some advice.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy playing Wyrmblade. It's just I don't really know what else to say. I think it was my first kill team that I played. I had to essentially learn them from scratch just by not seeing anyone, and I just had to figure out like what they have to just kind of what sticks against like certain kill teams, other kill teams, like for when what to bring and not to bring. So I'm just want to see if I can help out other players.
Okay, why Wyrmblade? There's a lot of kill teams in the game right now because we've not technically moved to classified yet. Um, what about this team is appealing to you? Like, why would you play them over other teams, for instance? What are some of the things they can do that you like about a kill team?
Well, uh, they have very strong like faction rules. They while their stats are not amazing, they're in terms of like raw stats, they have really good abilities. Starting off just like cult ambush. If you go from conceal to engage, you just get Cecils, both shooting and melee, on your activation. Most importantly, um, so getting just Cecils rerolls just by default is just a good roll. And in addition to that, if they're not visible, they can just also get Cecils at the start of their activation. They have like 3 very powerful. The cult agents are like the equivalent of getting like an additional leader for Wyrmblade, and they're just powerful by themselves as well. They have very good tools as well and very good damage output. They're like a very good like glass cannon, if anything. And the faction familiar territory allows it to just get setting up like positioning from the opponent's positions, like just allows it to put in positions where the opponent wouldn't expect. But what
Yeah,
really drives me, like something I really enjoy just from Wyrmblade is just they have 2 additional leaders, two additional leaders. They have very good versatility against like a lot of kill teams. And then they have powerful equipment, just powerful plays, and very good damage output in shooting. They have like one of
that's certainly
they're
true. Yeah.
they have really high. While they can be swinging, they have very really high damage. If not one of the damage shootings in the out of all the kill teams, maybe one of the best shootings.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Certainly, Ceaseless does help a lot, and then especially with the rending ploy, you'll see a lot of
Yeah.
crits a lot of the time in the shooting. And you've got some really powerful profiles to use it on. Heavy gunner, of course, this edition. Crack grenades. Your little GA2
Hmm.
guys throwing rending ceaseless crack grenades is really powerful. Um, and with coiled serpent as well, right? That's another way to ensure that you get that crit to spike into rending, because it still works even with the changes to like you can't severe and rending.
Hmm.
Kelamorph, probably the best shooting operative in the game, right?
Just
Or maybe it's the
if he was
sniper.
unable to shoot one, the sniper puts a very good number on elites, but I guess we can go over him in a second. But yeah, the Kelmorph is 10 shots shooting twice. That's essentially 10 shots with piercing 1 and rending and ceaseless. That's nothing to sneeze at. Um,
No, certainly not. Um, what about how you think they'll do into the coming meta? So, of course, I found them to be pretty good with the new tac ops, the new crit ops. I definitely feel there's something to say about the fact that Seek and Destroy and Infiltrate has changed for them. I think the new tac ops are probably a lot more playable. But how do they
Yes,
perform
I
into
agree.
some of the teams you think we'll see running around a lot?
If I had to say the best, so if we had to say which kill teams would be the metas, it would be Deathwatch because they're like the
Yep.
new Space Marine teams. So that's I think that Wyrmblade, since they have incredible damage output, they can against Deathwatch, they can just do a shit ton of damage. While they have to be careful of just one operative. We all know who it is. Jaegers. God forbid them. But any of the other ones, they can just go ham essentially because they have cracks with Cecils and then Rending. They can just do that. Other kill teams that they can go up against, um, Raveners. They can, but they have to be careful of.
Yeah.
Because they're very sneaky and they don't really allow to like just do the move up, but move up as the way they're meant to be played. I think Wyrmblade. What other kill teams are there?
Canoptech Circle. So I did
Canoptic
play against
Circle.
them for my
Hmm.
final in LGT. I was able to narrowly take the win against John Rees, so it definitely can be done. Um, so maybe there's a holy beacon there, some light that they're not an unstoppable meta menace.
Yeah, the damage output that Wyrmblade has, there is the possibility of being able to kill them, which is just the sheer amount of shooting that the Wyrmblade has. Would higher tech still be considered meta? Yeah.
100%. I did
Yeah.
play
Yeah.
into Hyrotech, John Burgess. I
Mhm,
found that the ability to flip back to conceal with Slink into Darkness and the fact
mm,
that you do have strong guns that can punch into them. Uh, and also, you do have some damaging melee with the leader or the Locus or whoever you've brought that can
mhm,
punch them out of melee if they try and hide in it with Chronometron, which is usually my go-to with Hyrotech against Horde teams.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. And like you said, being able to use Slink into the Darkness allows you to punch through, like with the Mining Laser, to punch through like an operative and go back on conceal, and you
Yeah,
keep one more turning point of punching through another operative, which is good. Um,
and familiar territory as well, I think, makes it easier to avoid those blasts because you can keep them sort of off the board and not give them those targets.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And it allows like to for better flanks. Maybe you put two operatives like on one side, and then they try to push that one, and then you just bring out like four operatives
for sure. Or you
because of
can sort of get them on top of these vantages. Up here,
yes,
there we
without
go. It's behind the blue line. And
oh
then
yeah,
if you're on conceal, Seek Light is something that Hyrotech lack. So if you're on conceal up there, you take a shot, you flip back to conceal, and they'll never really get a chance to shoot you.
yep. I think that's one of the best in Volcus specifically, being able to like Wyrmblade getting to in positions where they wouldn't be able to with heavy guns right
Mm.
away is just amazing. It just allows it to just be a huge deterrent, be able to not having to spend too many actions to set up essentially
Yeah,
and
for sure.
block off any potential threats that they could do in return instead of.
Who do you
Um,
normally keep in hiding, actually? That's a good question. You get four choices. And that's something I sort of hear a lot of people ask because it's like, well, with the heavy gunners, they can't drop in and shoot. But I often find to get them to where they need to be, it's a good idea.
it would depend. I think it would really depend on the type of matchups,
Yeah,
right? Let me. If I had to say the ones that I would put in hiding, for example, against like, if I really want to out activate my opponent, it would be kind of like put two warriors in.
yeah. So against like
So
other hordes, right? So you get
yeah,
those
against the
12
hordes.
activations.
Yeah, because Wormwood, yeah, so it'd be two hordes, and most likely like since they're gonna be sitting back the heavy gunners,
Okay.
maybe one heavy gunner and maybe one
The
of the
grenade launcher or the
one
Wega.
heavy one heavy
Yeah.
gunner and then just a gunner most likely because one of the heavy gunners kind of just wants to, like, for example, sit in the back, just wait it out to see if he can
Yeah,
see like any opening.
play defense.
Um, yeah, pretty much, because against hordes, they're most likely just like, well, anytime they would shoot, they'll most likely just kill. So there's no really need to. There's no point in going overkill, essentially.
But
Um,
certainly being able to drop the grenade launcher in and shoot somebody in that
yeah.
one activation feels quite powerful because you can commit that to wherever you need across the board, whether it's like, on this side because they've put an operative you can drop in over here, or
Hmm.
you could drop in on the vantage, for instance. There's certainly a lot of
Yeah,
options that you could do to keep your threat spread out on the board.
yeah. Especially when, like, he's able to just come out and then just becomes a nuisance, because with the blast 2 they have to keep in check. If they shoot like one of our operatives, be like, okay, an operative dies there, we already have, like, then the grenade launcher that shoots them, and then they're coincidentally, if they're within 2, well, it's gonna hurt both the operative that shot our operative and someone else as well. um but I think that's like one of the best ways in Tomb World, or like Galadark and stuff like that. Most of the time, if it's not hordes, you always want to be having the warriors most likely on the field. Maybe just one off the field, just if you want to feel comfortable. But it's always going to be 10 activations if it's like this. If it's just
Yeah,
all the warriors on the field. Uh, but it really would depend on the type of matchups. Against Felgor, for example, I would have some warriors in hiding, because they're just very fast, and you really want them to be able. They're gonna be the damage dealers, essentially killing off the operatives,
yeah.
because you have to shoot them twice to kill them. If you could help me as well, what other kill teams would be? I can't really think them off the top of my head.
Yeah, so I suppose into elite teams, generally I will put the both heavy gunners in the hiding so that they can sort of drop in and be in a threatening position. Into Inquisition with 11 activations, or into other 12
Hmm.
activation teams, maybe Brood Brothers or something. For
Hmm.
sure, it makes sense to me to put 3 warriors in hiding,
Yes, two,
so that
three.
you
Yeah.
get the critical 12 activations. Um, and then mid range, I feel like sometimes on the map you might even want to get the icon or the leader into a certain spot with hiding, so you might even consider them. Although certainly I feel like uh, generally you can get there with a reposition and dash, but it's the heavy gunners who really want to be like
Be in
using
a
hiding to
position right
position.
already.
Yeah,
Yeah. I see. Yeah, because heavy dash is not that great, so positioning them right away is just the best. They always, if you put a heavy gunner in hiding, they need to come out turning point 2. Even if you have to put them on the back line, it's otherwise, if or even
they'll get
turning point 1.
incapacitated. Yeah,
No, my bad. It's not turning point 2. You have to come out turning point 1, because otherwise then don't shoot turning point 2. That's my bad.
yeah, yeah.
Because they count as doing a reposition from the faction role.
That's right.
Uh,
Um, Is there any cool plays you think with the team? Like anything that someone would look at when you do it and go, "Wow, that's cool." Like I can see the vision of this team here. Like there's an idea of what they're doing that's especially cool to watch or appealing, perhaps.
well, quite there's quite a few tricks that can be done. I guess we could start off with like a few operatives at a time. So it'll be like, let me see, if we do this, you can start off with the least, like the ones I like the least, the ones I like the most. Um, if I had to say, the most common ones. So right now, the operative that I dislike the most is just the Icon Bearer, because it doesn't really do much, even though he has a cool ability. It's kind of like, well, he counts as 1 APL higher, which is good. Um, and then the ability to overthrow pressers is very situational. There's too many like
Many
requirements
problems
for
with
it
it,
to
right?
happen.
Yeah,
Yeah, requires visibility. Then, so he needs to see the operative. They have to be ready. They cannot die from melee, so it wouldn't be able to either do the shoot or the free ploy,
Yeah.
a plunge generations in the making, and that's essentially it. And there needs to be a neophyte in addition. So there's like 4 requirements for it to be able to trigger, and even if they shoot on death, they're gonna be injured. They don't get the Cecils because it's not their activation. It's not that great. My cool ploy that I like to do him is to, because this is just thankfully thanks to a new tech op, is just come out of hiding. For example, do something like this, or something like this. Dash him. Obviously, taking into account maybe doors or some stuff like that, but he's not that important. Him dying is totally fine in my opinion, and being like, okay, cool. This was my turning point 1. Turning point 2, because well, even from up here to here, he wouldn't be able, most likely would be able to get it, but well, you never know where I want to do it. You just run up at the opponent with point devices and just cool. You sacrifice him and you get a lot of points because he's never gonna do anything else. You can always, or you can, instead of if you just want to create an opening right away, you could just use a ploy called
Divert and disappear.
divert and disappear, which allows you to perform 3 dashes with 3 operatives or 3 charges, but they have to be on engage to be able to do the charges. Something to keep in mind. To then be able to increase their threat range. Essentially, they're not a kill team that is able to get APL, so that's a problem.
They don't
But
have
it allows you to
comms,
just
yeah.
there's no comms, so all you have to do is just move a 1, move 2, and then with just this, you can just see there's a dash or reposition, throw crack, shoot someone, just be annoying, and or just move up and plant devices or run away. For example, if he's over here, you can just do divert and disappear. On your first activation, you plant and you just run away.
Yeah, I
And
think
with just that, you just score a lot of points.
there's something a lot of commando players talk about because they have a similar ploy in Shush, with like a push and a pull, right? So if you start somewhere around here, then you have that dynamic adaptability of being able to either dash, back behind cover, or to instead dash forwards to get a better threat range. And in that sense, I guess
Yes.
it adds like 6 inches to your threat range because you can be well up the board or actually really far back in cover, depending on what it is
Yes.
you need to do. I think one thing people often talk about with this team is that GA2 threat of dashing to warriors forwards and then running up and throwing crack grenade, sort of forcing your opponent to try and take the initiative to stop that ploy. And then I found it was really useful to dash them back and into cover so that your opponent didn't really have any good targets to go after.
Yep. That's one of the ways to be able to force the opponent to really give them a head scratcher to like, well, to deal with. Essentially, be able to do group activations is just a powerful play a lot of the times because you can just alt activate to the same operative twice and just take a huge chunk of health or cripple them or kill them as well. But if I'd say that's one of the tricks you can do with an Iconberry is just use them as as an engaging piece. Because I think it's just the most worthless one in my opinion, operative. Because this is all because he's 3 APL. Being able to do this is just because he's 3 APL. You don't have
And
to
poaches
sacrifice a
off of
warrior.
horde teams who might only hold it with 2 APL. That makes sense.
Yes, against elites it wouldn't really work because well they're also 3 APL. Might as well just use them as a missile essentially, without having to sacrifice your group activations. Now going over onto the group activations, like you said, it's just being able to group activate, put yourself like this, and then just with the dashes, being able to just move up. And then if they take the initiative, you're able to do this. If they give the initiative, you take this, and you're able to like move 6, somewhere like 4 to go up very far and be able to shoot someone. with while double shooting the cracks, the shotguns, and just hurt them very badly.
Hurt them very badly. Certainly a novel strategy in this game.
Oh yeah, I think Wyrmblade is very much a kill team that you really want to like. You really would just want to try to kill the opponent in the best possible way. Missions, hell no, kill them.
Yeah,
Um,
they definitely do seem to have that sort of kill potential, especially with the queen pieces of the
oh yeah,
guys. You have gunners, so you have such sort of strong weapons, and then you have some chaff that can throw crack grenades, get big value, die.
oh yeah.
The leader, obviously, very powerful weapon, and then
We
as
have
mentioned,
essentially the
yeah,
initiators, the defensive pieces, which is sit back and shoot to. The other defensive pieces, but have better mobility, so they can just move up the board and help out in case these guys end up dying. But the cool tricks, so these are the tricks you can do. A trick I like to do with Wyrmblade is, for example, if my opponent is creating a lot of threats, I will do the same, while also, for example, doing the, for example, like one ways. For example, commanders get to do the thing that we
yeah,
were saying, but we have small bases, so we could end up creating one ways in which they can't get to us and we can get to them.
that
But
does help
at
with
the
the
end of
like
the
limited threat range of the team, right? Because obviously the dash goes a long way for that, but then
Mhm.
later in the turn, you're a bit more stuck. But this kind of staging feels like it helps and goes a long way to give you that one-way threat range.
Yeah, it is something I do. It really allows to create these type of ranges. But the trick I was saying, what was I saying? Oh, right, the trick was to, for example, create multiple threats, even if you could sacrifice one of your pieces by essentially trading. If you're playing against like kill teams that have more, you have more than your opponent. It just if you're set if you set up aggressively and the opponent also set up aggressively, you can force them. You can you can create points in which, because they're able to dash in the gambit, they can only trade one operative essentially for one most of the time, unless you're playing like against Death Corps because they also have GA2. But even like that, it's still risky. But if you don't like a play, you can just dash with all three to positions of safety, or you can create three. And if they take the initiative, you can create three threat points in which they have to decide which frontier they have to sacrifice. They can go here and shoot this guy, but then you have this guy and then this guy ready to group activate and maybe kill two operatives in one go because of cracks, blasting charges, the shotguns with rending, with Cecils. In addition to that, you're able to create two additional threat points at the cost of one, which in my eyes seems a lot better than just losing an operative, which then a guy becomes in the open for all that type of things.
Yeah, definitely. Opponents that have to put operatives on engage to deal with the warriors are probably going to eat a mining laser to the face in a second. So that
Oh
tends
yeah,
to feel like a good trade for you. And I think everyone struggles to trade well with Wyrmblade, it feels, because they're either a horde team that you can rush down first, or they're a team that they don't really want to lose that operative for a warrior, really. And
oh, I
even
don't think anybody wants to lose to a warrior. It's just a very
even for hordes, right? They need to beat the leverage of the cult agents, which is difficult. Um, Trying to kill warriors like
without,
that.
yeah, without a doubt. Going over, we could go over the agents, but the agents by themselves are able to pick up against hordes on a good day, three operatives, maybe more. Um, they can also just whiff, but because
Well,
it's Cecils and all that stuff, they're able. But they're against hordes. The Volcus double hits or auto parries them and then kills them.
yeah,
So he kills one, he charges again, he kills another. So by himself, he's already picking up two operatives and gumming up the opponent. Like by charging again, he's gumming up towards like he's tar pitting other operatives and being a nuisance essentially.
yeah,
Calmorph shooting twice and then running away, or shoot to, or move, shoot, and then run away, and he's able to like pick up an operative maybe each turning point, and he has a very good survivability because he gets to retain 2 cover saves. All of them get to retain 2 cover saves because of their ability,
And ignore piercing.
ignore piercing, and saturate.
Yeah, that's true. The ignore saturate definitely helps when they try and get around the ability and it doesn't work. But
Yeah. But that is one of the ways to. They're like the best These two are the best operatives to essentially use for against hordes or even against elites as well. They're
yeah,
just a
in
very.
terms of operative selection, what sort of does your roster tend to look like, and when would you drop one operative for another? So, I mean,
Uh,
the base thing is like shotguns or auto guns, right? I don't think I ever take auto guns. Maybe there would be a
Never.
case on Beta Decima, but
Yeah, maybe better Decima, but no, like shotguns. If autoguns had a little bit more thought put into it, maybe if they had balance for like maybe more thematic reasons or stuff like that. But in terms of weapons, always shotguns, no matter what. It's always better to hit on threes. They on normals they do 3 damage. Both the icon bearer and the neophyte gunners, or the
yeah,
warriors. I
warriors.
mean,
I do feel like you have
um,
enough long range threat between the gunners, the heavy gunners, the Kelemorph, and maybe sniper, right?
oh yeah, without a doubt. There's the same amount of warriors as there is heavy gunners and gunners combined. So
Yeah.
in terms of long range, it's just enough. Um, because
And then what about the leader loadout? So I know I'm a big fan of the
mhm.
power maul because I find getting that 6 damage crit and the 4 damage normal does a lot for a lot of breakpoints. For elites, it's a crit and 2 hits, or for 10 wound models, it's a crit and a hit, that kind of thing. And I understand people say, yeah, well, it's the same with the power pick, but then they might be able to parry your other crit, whereas that power maul gets the damage through
Takes
first.
away dice.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
And
very much. Oh, sorry.
yeah, I bring the web pistol as well, just for that extra little like tool piece, I guess.
hmm So going over the equipment, you never take the autogun, you never take the shotgun because you already have the short range to deal with, and the web pistol, just by default, is better than the shotgun and has in addition uh more
Keywords, yeah.
weapon rules. Severe and stun is just a nuisance. Getting stun is just a nuisance towards the opponent, so you always want to be annoying. Um, so you always take the whip pistol or the auto pistol, but auto pistol I've never taken it. I think there's only one matchup where it can be useful, which would be against, for example, against Reveners,
Oh,
because
because
with the 5-ups and Rending, you just and ceaseless, there's a good chance you can actually get a lot of crits and just take a huge chunk amount of health.
that makes sense.
Because they're sitting on 5s. It's not that good for them. While the stun still is very good because, well, they don't really want to get stunned. It hurts them very badly. So, like, whatever you feel most comfortable, if you get a lot of 6, you get a lot of 5-ups, they're donezo. This is just to be more annoying. In terms of melee, not this, not that. Parmal or pick.
Yeah. Is
I
there any
think
particular change between them, you think, or is it
I
generally
think
power
if
maul and
it's
sometimes?
because it's not 4 attacks, it can go up to 5 because of
That's
the
right.
days at hand. So there's a good chance you always get a crit if you're doing the days at hand on their activation.
Or he
The
can even
running,
give himself the coiled serpent, right?
hmm hmm he can also give himself because of his ability. He can see himself.
And he's a neophyte.
Um, yep, it is not limited to within 6 inches or being in the kill zone. He just needs to see the operative. So he's always roughly like in the middle, being able to watch everybody in case, like, for the initiative of battles, like for the warriors, if they're gonna run up and do the throw crack, they get a crit. Force another crit, they get a rending, they get another crit. So you can get a bunch of crits essentially. So like positioning him here would be good because he's able to see down here,
Yeah.
down over there,
Or come charging
down
in
this
like
lane.
to the objective, right?
That as well. Um, but like setting up in the back and all that stuff, it's a very good positioning. But
Also a
I
good idea.
think
Makes sense.
Parmol pick, I'm more leaning towards the Parmol as well.
Okay.
Because if a crit happens, it hurts very much. You're most likely using him as like a finisher after somebody like a warrior or the Icon Bear went up and like crippled them, like softening them up. Power pick. If you're trying to parry out the opponent, most likely, I think. But I think the Power Maul is just a good pick all the time.
Makes sense.
I don't think it ever goes wrong. It's a shame you don't get a crit. Well, bummer.
Yep. Moving on, gunners and heavy gunners. I remember we talked about Flamer maybe into like hordes to force them to space out around the torrent, and then he said heavy gunner, the seismic cannon can be quite good on close quarters combat because of the stun, right?
Yes. Seismic cannon. You only take it into like most likely Tomb World just because the same thing. If you go on guard and you shoot someone, well, bummer. They move out into the open, you shoot them, and they're just stunned, and they just have either one APL left, or they're just done for the activation, which is just a shame. And it's 6 attacks, so there's always a good chance. Because little 5-ups with 6 attacks, it's very likely.
Can you roll a crit?
Can you? Yeah, can you roll a crit? But anything else? Mining Laser, Heavy Stubber.
Oh, I always bring the Mining Laser. Like,
oh yeah, the Mining Laser always like it's just a better Heavy Stubber essentially. Yeah. So there's never a point not to take it. As for the Gunner, against elites, the same thing. It's either Flamer, grenade or grenade launchers. The Weber can be also.
I always bring the grenade launcher, but. Do you think
yeah, because 4-ups with Cecils, yeah, I think so as well. Like, it's very good. It hurts the opponent. The Flamer, I think you always only bring the Flamer against hordes.
Okay.
And if you think you're gonna be able to get in, essentially, or to
maybe the stun is less impactful.
Yeah, if you feel like the stun is gonna be less impactful, or like if they're trying to do like maybe some like trying to do guards, but if you go on guard with the Weber, you shoot them, they stun them, and they can't do anything else as well. It's kind of. You're just using so the damage dealers are going to be the grenade launcher, and the flamer and the Weber are just going to be deterrents, are going to be the scare pieces essentially. They're not there to do damage, or maybe they are, but they're just there to scare off. Especially the flamer. Flamer with on guard, right? Tomb World, 2-ups, crazy.
Yeah, I can see that.
You don't get the Cecils, but if it's hitting on 2-ups, you're most likely getting all the hits, so you're most likely fine against the hordes doing that. Icon Bear, Shotgun.
Yeah, pretty similar to the Warriors. And then
these guys,
the big ones, Cult Agents. So
the big boys.
Personal opinion, Calamorph is the absolute goat. I think I always bring the Calamorph.
Always. There's never a chance. He has one of the best shooting, like we said. 10 shots, super scary. Not in addition to that,
Seek Light, right? That's a really useful tool for this team.
Seek Light going to Tomb World. All those Seek Lights become obsolete. You can just shoot them twice with shot rate. Ceaseless and rending. So like in addition to all these worlds, it's getting more getting to shoot twice. Sadly, his other ability, Heroic Inspiration.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really use it, but
I think out of all my games, maybe like it triggered twice and it didn't even matter. So like this rule is like it exists, but it's like it works for like the turning point, and it's like it's not very good. This is very rare. It's good to keep in mind that it exists, but I'm also like no.
I'm sure never going to be close enough to help out. Game. Bear it in mind, guys.
Oh yeah. Eventually, someone. If there's a lot of people playing, eventually it'll trigger to someone. The Locus, the nightmare against shooting teams if they don't take melee. Expert swordsman, fight twice. We have a guy that shoots twice and a guy that fights twice. In addition to that, after he fights and there's nobody within control range, he charges again, no more than 3 inches, but he gets a free charge essentially.
Definitely like the vision of this operative is to charge in and like bounce off all these horde guys that you're like just parrying out, taking no damage, and then charging into their backline, right?
It's pinball. He's literally just pinballing essentially across the field. He's just too fast. We can go over this one. We just say this one real quick. Bladed stance, parry first. He most likely won't get hit and will just hurt the opponent
Yeah.
very badly because of
And
his
then
weapon.
Quicksilver
Lethal 5-ups.
Strike for the zoning potential.
This,
right?
this is a zoning. If the opponent wants to shoot you, or they're playing like something like that, oh, they're auto activating and they're putting up the Melta. You just put the Locus up here, and it's like, if the Melta moves up, oh, it's like, oh, cool, you moved up. He'll just interrupt that activation. He'll charge, and the Melta does nothing.
I
It
even
sits
find
there.
that like people tell me, oh, you struggle though if they just charge you with a strong melee operative. But I think that's then a good time to play Unquestioning Loyalty.
Yep.
So
Get
you
down,
can
Mr.
set it up
President.
in such a way that you can have the locus, like maybe this is a bad instance because you probably don't want to be behind that light cover, or maybe you do. You have that
Mhm.
double cover stuff. But essentially, if they run up to try and shoot you with a blast weapon to get around it, you could flip order and charge into them. Or
Yep,
if
yep.
they charge you with this strong melee operative, you can redirect it, poke them for 3 damage from the icon bearer, and then when the locus activates, you'll stab them to death.
Yes, exactly. That's it's just like one of the best. Like, he's the most defensive piece and the most annoying piece towards the opponent. Even if the opponent has good melee, you can just mess them up as well. Still, you can just use the Get Out Mr. President to then just cripple them, and then to have the locus finish them off.
Yeah.
If they take because something to keep in mind is if they charge the locus and they take they're within control range of the locus, and if you do get on Mr. President or Unquestionable Loyalty, they are then within control range of another operative. So you're getting
get combat
assistance on that.
support. Yeah, that's pretty big.
So that can help a lot. Maybe doing the 6 damage, unless they're able to just parry out it twice, you're able to do, if you're lucky, getting all the hits in, 6 damage, which is great. The locus can then just pick him up or like hurt them really bad as well. He also has silent. It's very rare to use. He most likely just
yeah. It is still there.
Uses the locus.
If you reposition dash, poke them, and then the idea is to play the divert and disappear to charge at the start of the next turn, maybe.
Oh yes, that's also another trick you can do. Is be able to. I've never really used them that aggressively, but it is possible to, like you said, to be able to oh, I'm doing like last activation. He goes on engage. You dash him. You reposition for 6. He's not doing anything. I guess you can throw a crack if you're able to. You can shoot his gun, and then because then to keep in mind you can't use the faction equipment, but we can go over that in a second. Like you said, next activation, next thing, divert and disappear, and he charges. Problem solved. And it's just
again, he's
a
getting
nuisance
quite far across the board there. So.
Oh yeah, it's essentially doing how much? 3, 6, 9,
12, right?
Oh no, right. No, wait. Moving 6 plus 3, 12 plus 1, so 13. 13, yeah, 13 inches because of his control range. Essentially.
Yeah.
So he's doing a 13-inch charge. Well, it's throughout 2 activation, but it's still very good because it puts someone in the back line and it forces the opponent to deal with. Otherwise, he will start murdering a lot.
What about the other 2 operatives? Because they are quite situational, right?
Sadly. So we'll go over the sniper. The sniper is amazing. Sadly, a lot of people know how to play against it, and I've only was able to use him against Deathwatch.
Yeah, he's a really good answer to the Aegis, which is nice because usually they want to run him forwards, and if they do that, the sniper will kill him efficiently.
Oh yeah. So 4 shots on 2 ups, permanent silent with dash, devastating 3. Target vulnerability, lethal 5 ups, boom. If you're lucky, you get 2 crits. If you're not lucky, well, maybe a crit, which is already good enough. Now, if you put him on engage and you have the days at hand,
he gets rending,
you get
as well.
ceaseless. Yeah. So that's I was lucky. I got a crit. Let me just spawn some dice so we can just use as a.
I mean, ceaseless.
I don't think.
On.
So
on 2s with lethal 5, rending, and potentially a hit to crit.
Oh yeah, so 4 dice, lethal 5 ups, 2 2 2, he gets ceaseless. So let's say he gets a crit, that's a crit. Rending, that's another crit. You do the Call to Hand, that's another crit. These by themselves, these are already 9 devastating. And if you're really lucky, and you get 2 crits, just normally by rolling the dice, you can force all of them to get a crit.
It's not that unlikely with lethal 5 and ceaseless.
Oh, with lethal 5 ups, it's not unlikely, but the thing is, if it's a good roll, like just getting 2 crits on the roll is a very good roll. It's essentially guaranteed kill. Like you can essentially guarantee kill a Space Marine in one go because it's 12 devastating, and the opponent can't do anything about it. Oh, but what if they're in obscuring?
He ignores that, and then
He ignores that.
he's not working off piercing. The damage of 3 doesn't get reduced by like the long whatever it's called, the shield that slays.
Mm-hmm.
So certainly he feels like tailor-made to deal with some of these new Marines running around.
Oh yeah. The only problem I think has even coming up is that a lot of people kind of just get scared of him. They get into blind spots, so he can't shoot. He's very able to just shoot down an entire like lane, but then you have one of these stronger pieces just not shooting, maybe for like 1 turning point, 2 turning points, 3 turning points, maybe turning point 40 gets to shoot, which is most of the times happened with me. I was like, it's really heavy. It's really hard to have him like do something.
That is the only thing. I do find he serves like quite a similar role to the heavy gunners.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe in that sense, like you're doubling up when you should be trying to take a different strength to the team.
Exactly. Taking the locus, they're able to get going up to the opponent, cripple them, even if he dies because you get a bad roll or anything like that against an elite, or he's able to finish him off. He will die, and you still have like someone else that will be ready to help out. But he is against Deathwatch, I think, an auto take because he will scare them off. You still have to be careful because the opponent can just run up at you, but
yeah,
he will hurt anyone. He I would say he'll be the best damage dealer if the Kelmorph didn't exist. But he is the best sniper in the game, if I had to say.
Yeah, I think he probably is. What about the Talon though? I personally quite like this operative because I think that one of the weaknesses of the team, which we'll get onto in a second, is that they do sort of struggle dealing with like melee hug teams, and I think that the Talon, you can play this game plan of like, okay, I'm going to sit around the corner, and then when they charge in and don't fight me, I'm going to fight them with the warrior, and I've got the Cult Knives equipment, so I'll deal at least 3 damage really. And then the Talon will come in and hit them for 12, which will kill an elite, or if it's a Ravener, you might even be able to hit them for 18 or something.
That is the best way to use it. It's exactly the way you described it, but it is incredibly. His first rule, Creeping Shadow. First things first. His weapon is scary as hell. 4 attacks on 3s, 3/6, little 4-ups with shock. So getting the crits, you're most likely getting 2 crits and then maybe 4 crits. While it doesn't proc with the rending from the days at hand, if he goes on engage, he can go up to 5 attacks. So, but he most likely doesn't survive like 2 hit back. So there's really no point in swapping to engage. It's very situational to do this type of thing. But he gets to Charge on Conceal. After he fights, he can either perform a fallback or a dash, no more than 3 inches, but he gets to go back to safety after he shanks someone. But his other abilities are his ability Assassinate is very powerful, but incredibly hard to use. Not getting those 2 inches makes him just a defensive piece, essentially. I tried to use him in Tomb World, thinking, oh, if he's behind the door, I can just assassinate because, well, he can then just go up to someone because they were not visible, open up the door, and then shank. The movement is the problem.
Yeah,
he only goes up to 5 inches because he has to go through a Nexus point. Yeah, Or if he has to climb, he only goes up to like God, how many inches?
4
So
probably if you're climbing 2 or 3 or whatever.
yeah. So it is very hard. The good thing about Assassinate though, this even though I've his ability is very restrictive. In addition to not getting the 2 inches, he cannot be visible to that enemy operative. When he selects for this ability.
He is a reasonably tall model as well, right? So it is quite difficult to
Yes.
try and hide him behind whatever. So
Yes, he's essentially he's the same height as like any other operatives. He's just slightly shorter
okay.
than the icon bearer because of the of the banner, but it's because of his little helper, his
Yeah.
familiar, psychic familiar in the back. Um, his other ability, the what's it called, familiar soul sight. I don't
He's
think it's that
imbalanced
useful.
and
It's more
brutal. No. I mean,
only on the
brutal on a
sniper.
weapon with so many crits generally, right, is not super helpful.
Yeah, and just getting balance when you already have Ceaseless is already
Yeah.
that unnecessary. So this is not really that useful. Um, but the cool thing about Assassinate, because correct me if I'm wrong. So he performs charge. He then that charge must end within control range of operative, and he must immediately perform a free fight. So even if the opponent is on guard, it's immediately.
Oh, okay.
So the opponent doesn't even get the reaction to do a do a guard shot or stuff like that. So this already
Um,
deters the opponent from doing stuff like this. I think.
I
I don't think
I
I ever
don't know.
was able to use it.
Um,
Um.
probably ask your TO before doing that move would be my
Oh
advice.
yeah, yeah. It would be my advice, but this is something I've never really been able to use them because it's so hard, and the opponent is able to just get out. This type of thing is incredibly hard to do. Um. Because in addition to able to do a fight and they're not able to counteract, in addition to that, he gets to perform another immediately, free dash or fallback. So he gets to perform from 2 immediately, and he's able maybe to like shank someone and run away, and they don't even get to do a guard shot.
Mm.
Maybe. I cannot say for certain. It is a trick that can help as Kurt, he said, as it's better to just ask the TO how the ring works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. But yeah, that's something he can do. Getting balanced. This is something that you most likely use a turning point one, and that's it.
Yeah.
Because there's not much you can do in addition to that. Did we go over the ploys?
I don't think so. I mean, we don't really need to go over all of them, right? I think of these ones, there are two really, really good ploys, like some of the best in the game,
Oh
and
yeah,
two that
men.
I don't know. I've wondered with one with the shadows, if you're doing inside outside with a light barricade against like Nemesis Claw or something, so that you're
Hmm.
trying to stand in such a spot that they can't charge you from the other side, but you are within cover, and they play Prey Sight um, to gain Seek Light. Maybe then there's a time to play uh, one with the shadows to then like take obscuring instead of the cover from the barricade.
Hmm. Um, I think if I had to say this is just my opinion, obviously. If I had to rank the ploys, I would say Diverted Sapir is neck to neck with Day at hand, essentially. They're very good ploys. One with the shadows, I'm gonna be honest, I think this only might be useful in like Tomb World because of the new scatter terrain. Otherwise, it's too. You'd have to like set up like 2 white barricades, for example, right? I think that's how it works. I've never used it. This I think I used it once and I misplayed it and never used it again because Wyrmblade doesn't have CPU regeneration,
Yeah. Well,
so
you have
you
the
have
free
to be
ones from the
mindful.
leader, which goes a very long
Yes,
way. But
but sadly, the good ones that you want to use are on only firefight plays, not strategy plays. So
yeah,
I'm not really keen on using these ones. These ones should never be used, essentially.
I mean,
Um,
the thing about Crossfire is that to have shot someone already and accurate, now you can't change it to crits as well, maybe even
right.
worse. You want to fish for crits. Like, I've thought about it, maybe into some theoretical, like, maybe Canoptech if you want to shoot the spiders plenty, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I just still would try and bank my command points for even just rerolls beyond Crossfire.
Yeah, it is just rerolls or try to use it on the other ploys, which are also very good. So like these ones should never or very rarely, and I mean when I mean rare, it's like maybe like 1 in 50 games or like 1 in 25 games, like something ridiculous. It's super rare to use any of these. So save the CP. It's best to save CP to always use on these plays
However, I feel like I use, these three probably
the
two or
most.
three
Yeah, yeah.
times a game, right? That's where all of the command points tends to go.
Oh yeah, because with the Cecils, the CP reroll is essentially like
Um,
not that
the fact
useful.
you get to do this
Colts.
one after your dice now. I know in the last edition it was before dice, but now the fact that you can go, oh, I don't have a crit there, I'll actually get a crit and go to rending. Or if you do roll a crit with rending, you just decide to spike into three of them.
It's Cold Serpent is just it keeps pushing the damage more forward. It's not just the fact that it triggers, well, it expands the damage. It's just for them to block the damage, this becomes even more annoying towards them. It's like, oh, I got a crit. You get a crit because of rending, and you can even force another crit because of Cold Serpent. So if you just get a crit normally, you can just push more damage. You can just be more of a nuisance, which is great. It's really what like Wyrmblade is all about. It's just the thing is, this ploy, Wyrmblade really played the long game because they can only use this ploy once per turning point. So you kind of use this, your damage output kind of drops quite a bit for the rest of the turning point.
Or you're
So like,
like much more liable to whiffing, right?
yeah, as well. Because maybe you don't get a crit, and then you cannot
Yeah.
guarantee it because you already use it to like spike the damage on one of your guys. So, but this ploy is like very much, I think, the best Firefight ploy that
I can see that.
Wyrmblade
I
has.
can see that.
Um,
Slink into Darkness. There's definitely some cool plays with that. I certainly feel with Track Target. Where are the tac ops on this new table?
oh, they're over here. They're over here.
Over here, yeah.
I just pulled them
Oh,
here
you
so
pulled them
make
out
it.
already. So track enemy, being able to get some like offensive damage off and then flip back to conceal and also track the guy feels like it's sort of getting around the point of the of the tac op that you're supposed to be not damaging them, and sort of really good to send someone up and score that off of it. Um, or even just as mentioned to keep your heavy gunner alive, or even if you just want the rerolls for next time. So if you do decide I'm going to bring my sniper off of conceal, he's going to get his ceaseless and his rending against their Aegis. Then I'm just going to flip him back to conceal so that he can do that all again next
One.
turn.
Yep, he takes out his arm and his leg, and then it's like, well, time for round two. If he somehow survives. But it is once per game per operative is already strong. It's not just like like the
It
like
doesn't.
Fox Scream, like
Yeah, it doesn't feel that limiting, I have to say. I think it's just so that you don't park a mining laser and just get 3 shots off with that thing. But to be honest,
or I think it's also so that you can't just put
yeah,
the Calmorph, like be able to just be over here, shoot twice, go back on conceal, shoot again, shoot twice, and just be essentially just repeating the same trick
but
over and
there's
over.
only
It's
4
very
turns and you'll only really use it turn 2 onwards, right? So
yeah.
the idea that you would be able to get such value out of an operative seems unlikely.
Um, yeah, it's very much like because turning point two, yeah, it's essentially just what do you just explained? You just stole my words out of my mouth. It just
And then
it's essentially this trick.
unquestioning loyalty, right? That's
Yeah, this is essentially situational. This is the second one, and then these ones just are essentially questionable loyalty is incredibly good because it works in a weird way compared to it works on the leader, and
Mm.
it works on all the cult agents. And the thing is, if I'm not mistaken as well, select one enemy operative.
Certainly, I find that like for teams that can't fight twice, or for teams that can't shoot you with a blast weapon, like they have one on the other side of the board or something, it means you can stage the Kelamorph or the Locust really aggressively
And sacrifice a pointless
and
piece,
just
for
be fine
example.
about it. Because if they decide to run up and shoot you with whoever, then you'll just be like, okay, fine, I'll redirect that into this guy who maybe if he's the icon bearer, I'll even do a mission action on death uh, or I'll flip him to engage and shoot you. And then it means your Kelamorph gets to wreak havoc from this forward staged point.
Oh yeah, yep, with the shoot twice, and is a unquestionable loyalty is just a great play. I think any type of get done Mr. President is incredibly good. When you have like very fragile models that you want to keep alive.
But for such a Queen Piece team, and even if you're being out activated, right, if they only have one chance to retaliate, you get this operative forwards to a point where he's killing two people, but he's still within three. If they then use their one chance to retaliate, you can get down Mr. President. And if you then go first the next turn, or you could dash him away, or whatever it's going to be. Certainly, I found that the new initiative system with the like pluses, if you rack up several cards and be very sure you'll win an initiative, playing the cult agent in such a super aggressive way can be really rewarding because you'll just get like 2 activations off in a row with them.
Yeah,
These ones.
I had a match where as well where like I essentially was guaranteed to have the initiative, and like you said, I was like, oh okay, cool. I'm just gonna run up my Kelamorph, shoot twice. He got to live. I guaranteed, since I had the guarantee initiative. We rolled off. I used my pluses and all that stuff. I shot him again. I killed him, and then he just ran away inside the stronghold and stuff like that.
Getting like a
And
quad kill with an operative feels like the best value you can get, really.
he really does become the gunslinger essentially when once he, especially with these type of guarantees of winning initiative.
Feels like it's helped Queen Piece teams oddly.
Yeah,
But yeah, that one's very good. And then Plan Generations in the Making is a bit weird. Certainly with the old TAC Ops, the only one they could really use for it was what, like wiretap, right?
yeah, wiretap.
Whereas
And that
now,
was it.
sweep and clear, you've got Steal Intelligence, even just to pick it up and then drop it as you die to fling it backwards or within control range of another friendly operative or something. And of course, plant devices. So, you know, if they kill your icon bearer that's on an objective, they've only got 2 APL on there. You can plant the device.
The device, yeah.
Yeah.
But something to keep in mind is that, like, while that is true, that is a very good way to do it. A good opponent might just kill them in melee.
Yeah.
Charge and kill in melee, and then he doesn't get to do point devices, which can be a bit risky. So it is a much of a gamble that can happen. But if it does happen, if you just move up, shoot someone, and then he dies, you just use a ploy. It just you're able to cripple someone, and you got to score points. That's the best case scenario. I think the cult agent, the icon bearer really wants to get.
Yeah.
It is incredibly situational still as well, though. I think we forgot to say something about Divert and Disappear. Something I didn't learn when I started playing them. The cult agents don't lose the EPL by being selected. Only if they do the
fallback. That's right.
the
Yeah.
fallback specifically. Something to keep in mind, that it is a bit of a misconception because the wording is a bit weird on it. Because it says if it can perform the free fallback, instead, if it does, it's still referring to the fallback. It subtracts 1 APL from until the end of its activation. They can still do a dash, and they don't lose the APL. They just count as 2 operatives.
Yeah.
Dashes instead of.
I guess the idea is that it only reduces the fallback down to 1 action. You're not doing the whole thing for free.
Yeah.
What about
that is
equipment? I feel like they have some very good choices here.
I think they have like one of the best equipments. Like
Yeah,
they,
it does feel good. I always tend to take crack grenades, but then it's quite the lineup.
oh yeah, yeah. They, I think what they really got hit hard was with the new approved ops.
Oh, not being able to
They,
take that scouting option anymore.
yes, the scouting option of equipment. The way I used to run them was with the explosive traps. I would always pick scouting and equipment, and with this,
Oh,
after
okay.
everything has been deployed, I would be like,
To
"Oh,
shut
I'm
down
now going
certain
to set up."
avenues.
Yes, it would deter the opponent from moving up because then, after everything is already set up, all the operatives, it would scare them off from doing other stuff
Mm.
essentially. So be like, "Ah, cool, doing stuff like this." Be like,
Although
"Ah, damn, I have."
you can
Sorry.
still place them next to light barricades. A lot of the time, players will put the light barricades like on the halfway point.
Hmm.
I don't know where it would be, like over here or something. And then you could answer it by putting the mine next to the barricade, um, meaning that they can't fully push up to it or it'll hit them.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think the mines would now be more useful in certain maps for Volcas,
Mm.
where there's more choke points. Like most likely
Yeah,
here, like for example, this map, there's a lot of choke points. I could put a mine here
over
and be
here.
over here. Yeah.
Oh, of course, that would be in their half, like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, something like this. Over here or over here
mm.
completely. Essentially scares them off. You can play more a bit more safely without having to worry. If it's a horde, well, it's gonna be a bit. It's gonna be a lot more scary for the opponent. If it's against an elite, they might just run through.
But then you're
But if you just
softening them
take a,
up, right? So
yeah, just yep.
if you chip a bunch of damage off them, then you probably bring them to the point where you could kill them in melee, is what I tend to think of the mines as. Like, I'm not super worried about a charge where they charge through the mines, because then they're within a more killable range.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, it's Wyrmblade is just, oh, a piece dies. Well, bummer, and it's like, okay, now I'm
Mm.
gonna kill you instead. It's very much that type of scenario.
For sure, talking about
Um,
that, like, one way threat range, the explosive traps go a long way for that, since you're allowed to move through them.
oh yeah, as well, that part as well. The fact that it's the fact you take two
Yeah,
mines and you just ignore them as well. It's just amazing.
really powerful. I pretty
Um,
much always take Cult Knives. Um,
Against melees, I assume.
well, no, pretty much always. I find,
Always. Oh.
if they don't have good melee, then that makes your guys quite scary. And if they do have good melee, maybe you want to try and stab them to death if they're hiding against you, or maybe you want to deal more damage when they charge and fight you.
Yeah,
Um,
because
yeah,
yeah, that is also like I don't really take cult knives unless I'm playing against a melee. If they want to try to hug me, then I'm gonna hit them back and just keep getting assistance and try to hurt them because with the days at hand and going from console to engage, they get ceaseless and then they go to up to 4 attacks as well,
mm,
which will
and for
then
sure, like
f-
getting that crit and uh,
and another hit will
yeah,
just
yeah, help you push
will
through a lot
really
of
help a lot.
damage.
Um,
Spotlights. So there is an idea of trying to block like smoke grenades or whatever. But I do also just find for helping you take those like cheeky shots, so you can just sort of shoot across the board very easily
with the heavy gunners,
with the
yes.
spotlights. So if you then have a guy who's like close to someone who's way across the board, because when you ignore obscuring, you're only really worried about getting some kind of visibility on them. So just seeing like, the tip of their gun or the side of the banner or whatever. And then if you
Hmm.
have someone else within 6, it lets you take a shot where it's probably really difficult to retaliate that operative because it's difficult to see them, which then means you can probably get your cult ambush even if you're not on conceal the next turn. And it means that like it keeps your powerful threat piece nice and safe.
Yeah, it really, like you said, it's really just trying to get those tricky shots. It's, for example, like if I had to say on this map, if you have the heavy gunner here, is able to walk down this hallway, like,
Mm.
oh well, this
And you won't
lane,
be obscured
and then
by
he's able
this
to
rubble.
see. Yeah, even if he's obscured by this because of spotlight, he's able to see this, and he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. And he still can be safe because, well, oh, I shot, dash, he's back to safety, and then next round he can shoot again. And he can also just see down this line as well a little bit better compared to over there.
Yeah.
And the good thing about these models as well is that while they're also low, they're able to like shoot, and then they're just able to dash to a certain point and be able to like hide themselves because
Oh,
they're
like the
actually pretty
silhouette.
pretty
Yeah.
short. Yeah, yeah. Spotlights, like I said, without the scouting step is a bit harder because if you
Yeah.
never know if the opponent is gonna take smokes or not, it's just a bit harder.
Bit of a gamble.
It's something I think with the new Tomb World, with the new Volcas maps, there are where there's a lot of heavy terrain in the middle. So since the heavy gun is going to be in the back, I think spotlights are reliable now, a lot more reliable because there's always going to be heavy in the way, and you can just be more cheeky with the shots without the opponent. Well, forcing the opponent to have to deal with non-obscuring shots.
Yeah, for sure. That does feel like the use case of the equipment. What about blasting charges, though? I mean,
I love it.
generally you're bringing the crack nades, but I feel like close quarters combat when they get the lethal 5, of course, with the rending.
I love it because something to keep in mind is only for neophytes. So sadly, the
Mm,
Vulcus cannot
yeah.
use it and all that stuff. But once per turning point, grenades. These are essentially pulse one damage. They're like
Last one is such a pain to remember as well, I find.
yes, and it saturates. It's plus one.
Mm,
Saddle with only 4 inch instead of 6, but it's essentially 3 damage and 5. This is just like a mix of like crack and blast. The blasting grenades essentially. It's very good damage, especially if they're in Sudden Stronghold or if you're playing in Tomb World with a 5-ups. So you're
yeah.
getting 4-ups with Ceaseless and Rending, and with the 5-ups. So you can get a lot of hits and just do a huge chunk amount of damage. In addition to the blast one, so if they damn I forgot or something like that, it can be very painful essentially with the blast one. The cool trick that you can also do is because people might forget while the neophyte heavy gunner can only dash 3, he can also use the blasting charges.
Yeah,
Nothing is
so that
stopping
gives
him
him
from just moving
a
up
mobile option
5.
as well.
You can just move up and throw a blasting charge or a crack. It's true
Mm,
he doesn't use the good gun, but if you're running out of operatives after running up with the warriors or the gunners, you always have a piece that can like just move up and be a nuisance because the heavy gunners are the ones that tend to like die last.
yeah.
Most of the time. But yeah, I love these guys. If I'm playing, what's it called, Tomb World or like close quarters, essentially, I always bring like this because this is just good damage output.
Makes sense.
Um,
What about tac op choices? I mean, everyone's sort of scrambling for what to do with the new ones, I feel. I'm not super big on sweep and clear, I think, because like the idea of, oh, but then your opponent needs to be standing on the objective and you need to do the action, blah blah blah. I do
mhm.
like steal intelligence. I do like track enemy, as mentioned. Played it into Necron teams that I found to be quite good because then maybe you won't be killing them as much because they're so durable. You maybe want to stay on conceal against them. Plant devices is maybe more of a sneaky tech tool against like
Mhm.
Raveners or something to run onto their home objective and plant it, so they'd have to guard that. And also, I haven't tried it yet, but I imagine dominate with the cult agents and with the capacity to flip back to conceal and keep your operatives who are getting kills safe. That seems like it could go a long way.
It could. So route is incredibly risky, and incredibly hard. So you have to be well within 6 and all that stuff. While they have the ability to reach, there's a possibility of them not killing because the damage that Wyrmblade has is good, but not reliable. It's good, still reliable. It's like better than average, above average, but it's not reliable. So it's 4-ups with Ceaseless. there's a good chance you don't get, the role that you really, really need. You kind of that's why the group activation really like pays off. Route is really not that good. Dominate, like you said, doing the using the cult agents as like the guinea pigs to like hold out, like the camels holding the dominate tokens, can happen, but it will put it will put even a huge more target like on their back. They're already a target. They already get a target on their back. This guy has to run up to be able to get it. So there's the risk of like people falling back and then just shooting him. And then the Calmorph is, well, he's the Calmorph. He's the one that gets more reliable, like most likely reliably survives. So, and then these ones are very situational, so they're also pretty hard to use.
So Steel Intelligence, would you say? I mean, I certainly found that like you would often get a kill and then your other backline operatives could run in and steal it. It's a weird one because it is generally quite good to get that like first kill turn 2. And then of course you do plan on killing a lot of operatives for those 3 tokens at the end of the game.
If I had to say, this is my first one for dominate.
Okay.
I would go first, second, third. Sweep and clear, I wouldn't use it to score points, but I use it to scare off my opponent. For example, if I'm playing transmission, hey, he can send on an objective. I don't mind him. I'll just kill him and just do search and clear, sweep and clear, and just score more points.
This is a team where you probably do plan to win on the kill op. So if they're not playing crit op, you should therefore win the game.
Yeah, so if they really want to send an objective, I don't mind. But if they don't want to, well, cool. They're not scoring, and I'm scoring instead of. So use it more like as a deterrent and like just be a nuisance. Now for these ones, I'm more inclined to, against elites, I would take plant devices. Depends. This is still because well, you can just kind of like,
right, because you need to be able to get to your opponent's home objective.
Yeah. There's also the like being able to run with 2 warriors, for example. Going one warrior goes in, one goes in to shoot you. Yeah, for APL on an objective, able to do that. Some of them have icons, so that can be a bit more scary. Or if they stun you, you can be in trouble. But this I kind of like to do because it scores me 3 points, and then it also keeps them off of the objective, so I get more points as well. So it's more like, well, I have to sacrifice 2 pieces after doing some damage, and I get to score points in addition. I kind of like this one.
Makes sense.
Steel Intelligence, it's a bit risky against elites, but against any other kill team is this. Plant devices and Steel Intelligence are neck to neck in my opinion. Because all you have to do is try to kill your opponent to the best of your ability and just pick them up at the end of the game.
Which, as you said, is probably what you want to be doing with Wyrmblade, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And even if you end, you don't just try them to pick up at the end. If you have operatives doing nothing, because, well, they're not moving forward or anything like that, after you kill an operative, why not just pick up one of the tokens? Because at the end of your starting point, you're just already scoring 1. So at the end of the game, you only have to hold another 3 instead of picking up another 5, for example.
Yeah.
Which is very good. I love this. Track enemy is just, maybe it's because of my playstyle. I play to try to table the opponent and killing them to the best of my ability, just positioning and all that stuff. But it is possible. It is just something a person just has to get reliable. Like you said, for example, against Canoptic, since they can't hide with the spiders, maybe track enemy is really good for that type of thing. Maybe against Chaos Cult with the mutants, right? Right? They cannot hide behind light, right?
The Torments can't. That's correct.
So yeah, Torments, Ogryns, these type of things can be really good against, I think. So this track enemy can be like that, but I'm more comfortable. I think the most comfortable one, even if you play against elites, if you kill one, because the damage output is crazy. You can kill one and pick up that marker and be like, okay, cool, that's a VP.
And you maybe kill a guy and win that flank, right? And get to pick up those tokens pretty uncontested.
Because theoretically, if you kill 4 elites, you can max out Steel Intelligence.
You just need to kill 3, don't you?
3. No, you need
One
to kill
turn
4
2,
because
pick it up,
oh,
and
3.
then pick
Yes,
up 3 at the
exactly.
end.
Oh, even
Yeah.
easier.
There you go.
um. Yeah. So yeah, killing 3 is killing 4 is always good because well, it increases your kill up by
Well,
up to
preferably you kill
4.
all of them, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, 3 instead of 4. But yeah, I'm mostly comfortable with still intelligence, point devices, and then well, if track enemy allows it. I will not say point devices. While I am comfortable with point devices. Tomb World, they're incredibly. If not, they're just a trap tech up essentially.
Yeah,
There are times where you're not gonna be able to touch the ever the opponent's objective. So you have to sacrifice the plant devices and be like trying to do something else.
makes sense.
I think there's yeah, it is like that. It is a bit hard.
Okie dokie.
I think
I think that's everything. So
that's
quite a comprehensive
everything.
guide to the team. Hopefully,
Oh, just
sorry.
the weaknesses. I think.
Oh, weaknesses. That's right. Yep, you're right.
Uh,
So, any weaknesses of the team that you think, like, if I were going to play against them, and I asked, "Oh, how would I beat Wyrmblade?" How would you advise someone?
if you're able to stun the opponent, or if you're able to stun, like for example, like the what's the name, Nemesis clause.
Mm,
They Wyrmblade hates get hugged in melee.
yeah,
They hate it. This
with
they
chain
they
snares or whatever.
despise it. Chain snares, getting stunned. For example, if you're able to throw a stun and then charge a guy,
Mm,
Wyrmblade has no way, with the exception of the cult agents doing the fallback because they
yeah,
have 3 EPL.
or
Any
hoping the
of the other
leader is
guys,
able to beat them to
none of
death.
these guys, not even the leader can fall back. They're just stuck there
Yeah.
essentially. So
Well, you can try and fight them, but you might not trade very well.
yeah, so Wyrmblade would like how much would it? I think you need to use like 3 like operatives to trade for like a space marine
Mm.
on average, right? Because you get like 2 hits.
With
That's 3.
blocking
That's 3.
rerolls, who knows? Yeah.
Yeah, so stuff like that. So like really hugging them and throwing stuns and like stunning them is just the most annoying part because Wyrmblade, if you're going with the average, if you're taking this guy, and this guy out of the melee operatives, you have these guys that have the best melee.
Mm.
The Vulcus and the leader. If you're not taking the cult knives into account, the equipment, faction equipment, there's only 2 operatives.
Yeah.
Their melee is kind of a joke. So yeah, that's just. I think that's the biggest weakness. It's the fact they have like no ways to increase the EPL. So
Threat
getting stunned is
ranges
really bad.
after that dash ploy is done, for sure. Like,
Yeah, after
like a team with jamming, like Phobos or whatever. If you jam the guy that dashes forwards or denounce them with Inquisition, then for sure it's tough because you're then just limited to move and shoot or charge and shoot or charge and fight rather.
yes, it is. It is. I think it is one of their biggest weakness. It's just getting to melee. Essentially, you really have to play the aggressive route and force them to charge something that they don't want to after you already done it. Most of the time, it's just a pain having to work around it. And I think that's really just the biggest weakness that they have. It's just the lack of melee.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's literally it. Their lack of melee is also really pushes because there's a lot of kill teams, Goremongers, Namclaw, New Deathwatch, hell, Canoptek can do melee,
Yeah,
right?
with soul drain and everything.
Soul Drain, yeah. So like they didn't even take that much damage. Uh, what else is there?
I mean,
Felgor,
Galapox,
Felgor.
Belgor, whatever it's gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just so many kill teams that can do damage, so you just have to be careful to not get stunned. That's why you really want to be able to stay outside of like those type of counteract stun or move up in stun, just be able to play it safe essentially. Um,
All
yeah,
right.
that's kind of it, I think.
Thank you very much then. As mentioned, this should be plenty for an aspiring Wyrmblade player. Let us know what you think, what you agree with, etc. If you think we're totally wrong and if you're massive on Crossfire, if you think that's the best ploy in the game, let us know. But thank you very much for joining us, Theo, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.